Mr Speaker, my question is to the Prime Minister. Do his answers to question for oral answer number one yesterday, mean that he has ruled out ever initiating the privatisation of Kiwibank?
The Honourable Prime
Minister. Mr Speaker, my answers to question one yesterday mean that the government has given no consideration to selling Kiwibank.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Point of order, Mr Speaker. If I'd asked the Prime Minister if he'd given any consideration, that answer would have been totally appropriate. I asked the question, has he ruled it out? There's a yes or a no. And it might be a no, we haven't ruled it out because we haven't considered it.
No, the point of order was fair enough. He doesn't. Actually, the Prime Minister, the question the Prime Minister asked, do his answers to question for oral answer number one yesterday mean that he has ruled out something? The member has asked the Prime Minister what he meant in his answers, and the Prime Minister told the honourable member what he meant by his answers. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition, question number two.
Speaker, why won't the Prime Minister be honest and upfront with New Zealanders about what he really wants to do in regard to privatising Kiwibank?
Forgive me, I don't like interfering in questions, but one mustn't imply that the Prime Minister mightn't have been honest. I mean, I invite the member to reword his question.
Mr Speaker, why won't the Prime Minister be upfront with New Zealanders and simply tell them whether or not he wants to privatise Kiwibank?
The Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, because no consideration has been given to selling any assets yet, but if I ever do get round to selling $9.5 billion like that member did, I'll let the public know.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr Speaker, does the Prime Minister agree with the departing Chief Executive Officer of Kiwibank, Sam Knowles, that it's important that Kiwibank remain in New Zealand ownership?
The Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, I think there are a number of factors that make Kiwibank successful. One of them has been the implied government guarantee from the New Zealand Government.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr Speaker, will the Prime Minister rule out privatising Meridian Energy?
The Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, no consideration has been given to selling any SOEs yet.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Will the Prime Minister rule out privatising Mighty River Power?
The Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, my last answer suffices this and any others they want to go through, but I can assure the member I won't be selling this very long list because they've already been sold by the previous member.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr Speaker, is the Prime Minister then prepared to rule out privatising Genesis Energy?
The Honourable Prime Minister.
My previous answer stands.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr Speaker, has the Prime Minister ever discussed with members of the National Party or businessmen or anybody else his preference for privatising state-owned companies?
The Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, in my 8 years in politics, people raise that question with me all the time, and I say the same thing I'd say that member. I'm not ideologically opposed to asset sales, but this government hasn't considered them at this time.
Question number 4, Louise.